This is me. I love motorbikes. I really do love motorbikes. The feeling of being on a mountain road is absolutely amazing. I do surfing as well. I'm not very good though, but maybe one day, if I keep on practicing, I'll be like Kelly Slater. You never know. I love boxing. It's fantastic to get rid of the stress that we got every day. But above everything, I love rock music. I try to go every week to see live music, and in summers I go to summer festivals. Glastonbury is still on my to-do list, so maybe in summer you'll see me around London. I love traveling, and regarding my profession, what I do is I'm an advertiser specialized in creativity, social media, and branding. I love doing crazy stuff, like, for example, taking a selfie using a can of beer or a Coke with no digital thing, just this, which is fantastic, isn't it? And on top of everything, I work for a bank. And I'm pretty sure you didn't expect that kind of profile to work for such a dull and gray environment. No, I'm just kidding, just kidding. And my bosses are just around here, so please don't think this is that dull and that gray anymore. Because we've got amazing things in my bank like this. This is actually my office. This is where I work every single day. So this is just a single thing to explain how things are changing or transforming. Isn't it amazing? To be truthfully, when my boss offered me this position, I had a lot of doubts. Because my background was very creative, working with advertisers all the time and graphic designers. So I didn't know what I was going to do in HR or a bank. But I took the risk, luckily enough, so I can be part today of this amazing project of transforming banking. According to a chairman, Francisco González, BBVA wants to become the best digital bank of the world. That's a big, big statement, I know. And we're on the way, and we're trying to find the ways together, and we'll manage eventually. But what we do know for sure is that if we want together eventually, we have to transform ourselves just right from the inside, which is human resources. And one of the changes we've already made is just myself. It is a bit weird to speak about myself in front of all of you, but otherwise you wouldn't understand the rest of the story, so just give me this little license. As I said, the bank was changing, and we needed to be able to project that new image to the markets. So what did we do then? My boss, who is a really clever woman, decided to bring in within the organization a professional from the field of advertising, specialized on marketing, creativity, social media, even branding, to help her to define the new employer branding strategy of the company. And I'm still here, so I think things are working out pretty well. As I said, it is a very challenging scenario for all of us. But the good thing is that we are on the same page, and we are all transforming banking. Today, I won't deliver a presentation about facts and figures and technical stuff, so you won't go to the office on Monday with a lot of things to be implemented right away. I'm so sorry. I'm here today just to tell you my personal experience with transformation and how a global bank like BBVA is trying to transform this system, this digital banking. So being said that, let me tell you the rest of the story. But first, let me ask you something. 1,200,000. Do you know what this number relates to? Any ideas? Not yet? Okay, just keep it in mind, because we'll go back to this point later, okay? And as I said, I'm here today to talk about transformation, about social transformation. And the first idea I want to give you is that you are not alone. Nobody was ready, really, for this huge transformation. It doesn't matter if you work for a big company or if you work for a startup. We're all on the same boat. So really, don't panic and just try to get things done step by step. And what I can tell you is that I felt exactly the same that probably what you are facing at this moment. When I joined the bank, I didn't know anything at all about HR. Probably I shouldn't say this here, but that's the reality. I didn't know anything at all. So I had to learn. I'm still learning, by the way. The same thing probably is happening to you with your disciplines. You might be recruiters, HR managers, so you don't know anything about marketing or social media, and you don't have to. The good thing is that you can learn it the same way I did. And the thing is, transforming is getting very, very fast to the world of HR. The most important thing we've seen regarding this new media and social media and HR social transformation is how the employer brand is being treated nowadays. Maybe 5, 10 years ago, nobody was talking about this, and now it's something very, very important. So just keep it in mind and try to learn things slowly and get around people that knows about it. In my case, nobody knew my role. Nobody knew what I was doing when I joined the bank, really. People just thought, okay, this is a girl doing something in social media, but we don't really know what she does. But as the time goes by, things are getting settled, and now I feel much more helpful for my colleagues, and I think they felt the same, because I got more requests every day to get them people to know everything about HR transformation, HR marketing. So I think this is the way, and I think we are getting there. The most important thing is you need to understand that transformation is not only on your company or your department, it's getting everywhere, and you need to be ready for this. Just for instance, to illustrate how far these changes are going, I'll tell you about BBVA. In our case, we are working just to remove that kind of hierarchical superiorities so people feel more comfortable to talk to their bosses and everything. And one of the tactics we've implemented is creating a no-ties policy. Of course, whoever wants to use a tie can do it, but now you are free to go to the office with jeans and trainers if you want to. Which I think is fantastic, because it's very comfortable. But apart from that, it goes beyond the dressing code, because what we are trying to do is to erase, to eradicate any kind of visual or external evidences of this hierarchical positioning, which again, it is fantastic if you want to create that kind of atmosphere of collaboration. Another fantastic example of this change, it is actually the online transformation on transactions we are experimenting. Our clients, or digital clients, grew last year 59%, which is a lot. But the most important thing is that this 59% of online clients did 10 times more transactions than the non-online clients. This is just an example of the way we need to follow, the path we need to follow. And that obviously applies to our candidates. We need to open that channels, online channels, to talk to them, to understand them, to make them feel comfortable and to engage with our corporation. And you know what? If you want to be able to do this, you need to think digital. And I'm telling you this with bold capital letters. Think digital. Thinking digital, it is not about technology. It is not about using social media or online platforms or mobile apps. There's nothing to do with this. Thinking digital, it's thinking in a different way. How? Being flexible, being quicker, being close to our clients and, of course, our candidates. It is just a way of understanding the world, which is changing very, very fast. So, if you want to think digital, you need to implement collaborative solutions so people can get access at the information at the same time and they can collaborate. You also need to implement collaborative dynamics and cooperative dynamics, but not only on the IT and designers teams, and we know they all do the same thing. They work in a very collaborative and creative way. But you have to implement it in every part of the organization. Because transformation, it is not only about IT or that kind of cool people who do cool things, like marketing and stuff. Transformation is a lot to do with HR, with legal staff, with financial staff. So just think about it and try to get everyone welcome with this new strategy. And the most important thing is that you need to understand that an ultra-connected organization is possible, because now we've got the tools to do so. It doesn't matter if you're working from New York, if you're working from Madrid or from London. We've got the tools to be connected everywhere, anytime. Why is that? Because now the organization needs to be ready for change of paradigm, because performance is going to be the key of our employers. Doesn't matter how much time you spend at the office. What is important is your performance. So we need to be able to make these people understand that the game is changing very, very quickly. For example, and go back to BBVA again, what we are doing, we are creating new premises based on open space concept that allows us to interact quickly and easier than it used to be before. So it's very peculiar because sometimes you had a meeting just in a corridor or at the elevator. So that's something that is happening thanks to the distribution we've got of this space right now. Also, we are using Google as a cooperative tool, which allows us to have, as I said, all the documents and all the information on the cloud, so we can access them everywhere, anytime. That helps us to do telework, which is great, because we could be working from Bahamas if we wanted. And we also do another kind of cooperative dynamics using Google Drive to share documents, so you can be adding comments on it at real time while your colleagues are working on the same document at the same time, which I think is fantastic. On top of everything, we are using Google Plus as a social media platform, internal platform, and that makes a huge change in the bank. I joined the company nearly 2 years ago, and nobody really uses it. It was like, okay, there is something on Google, but I don't really know what it is. And now, every day, we use it to share information, news. We've got different groups where you can exchange best practices, so it's been very useful. And the other day, I had a look, and I found 150 groups, discussion groups, within my company, which is a lot if you think that a few years ago, banking was a bit traditional. So I think we are making a difference with these tools. And just to sum up the idea, as I said, thinking digital implies that you need to be ready for things that you are not ready to. So just keep this in mind. And one of the things you were not ready for were the millennials. Yes, that young generation, which is crazy at this moment, and we are all getting, okay, what can we do with them? The expectations of the millennials are completely different to the previous generations. They don't want to be working at the same place for 20 years. They don't need that kind of security. What they really want, they want to feel motivated and passionate about their job. They want to enjoy every single day, and they want to grow, and they want to be more professional, better professional. Even, they are willing to change their job every year if they need to fulfill that need. So we have to be able to understand it, and we need to understand the way they think. And I know that because I'm a millennial. So I really understand that things need to be changed very quickly, because otherwise we get bored and we need to get things moving quickly and faster. And sometimes that is a kind of challenge for previous generations. and I fully understand that. What are we doing then? At BBVA, we are really aware of this importance of this generation. Because I don't know if you know this, but for example, at the USA, at this moment, millennials are the largest workforce, surpassing even the Generation X. So in a few years, it's going to be pretty much everyone millennial working on your companies. So the quicker you understand them, the better it's going to be for you. And we know that at BBVA. So what we have done, we've created some initiative just to understand them, and of course, they can understand us as well. One thing we did is to create a specific community on Google+, just to discuss about this millennialism and this movement. And then there is another parallel community where the millennials really talk, like freely, you know? But it's good that we've got these scenarios and people can talk about this movement. And another thing we are doing, we are holding informal meetings regularly with a bunch of millennials, including myself. And what we do, we just talk about what we worry about and how we see the world and the things we want to implement. And that's very powerful and very useful for the organization, because then we could use that information to be implemented with our clients and our candidates. One of the things we've done, thanks to that sessions, we've launched a new program because what we learned from the session is that our interns, when they joined the bank, they wanted to feel a little bit pampered, okay? Which is a very millennial attitude. So we decided to look for a partner. And we thought, okay, this is fantastic. We contacted Hawkers, which is a very popular sunglasses brand among Spanish people, young people. So we contacted them, and they were very happy to help. We created the BBVA Hawkers sunglasses, which are the ones you can see on the screen. So every time an intern joins the company, we just give them the glasses as a present, as a welcome gift. This is just a small thing, of course, but it is an example of the things you can learn from young people. So just bear in mind that they know really a lot of things. And what we really realized is that we needed to be able to tell the rest of the market all those things that were happening within the company. So we had to change our EVP. We reviewed it, and after reviewed, what we did, we created a new identity which stays, as you can say. Everything has already been invented until someone else reinvents it. Let's reinvent banking. As you can see, reinventing and transforming is right at the core of our vision, and we are trying to get that kind of feeling and that kind of transformation to everywhere within the company. It is very important that we are all in the same boat and we all manage to get this transformation done. And one of the things that can help you a lot with this transformation is social media. Social media, it is not as scary as you think, as long as you know how to handle it. I know sometimes it can be a bit stressful and you feel not very comfortable with it, and I fully understand, because obviously that's something that doesn't belong to your world, to your identity. But you can learn, as I said at the beginning. Did you know that 62% of job seekers visit social media channels to decide whether they want to work for a company or not? That's very important. And that gives you a great opportunity to project the image you want them to understand and to feel. And I know sometimes you can feel that, you don't want to be on social media because you're going to be exposed and people are going to talk about you. But doesn't people talk about you already? I mean, people talk about your brand, about your reputation, about your recruiting processes. Really, trust me. And if you don't, just go to glassdoor.com and you will see. People talk a lot about your processes and your salary and everything. So isn't it better to know what people say about your HR rather than just being, I don't know, I don't want to know. it is a lot better, because if you know it, you can manage it. I know it can be a bit disruptive, because HR and social media were not connected at the beginning, but really, it is the best way to get there. And if you want 3 examples of how social media can help you with, I'll tell you what I find very, very, very useful. The first thing is that social media can help you to have an impact on candidates even before you have a job opening, even before you contact them, you email them, you phone them. So by the time they are contacted, they are already engaged with the organization, which is fantastic, because it makes the work a lot easier for the recruiters. Did you know that brands with a strong talent brand drive twice the amount of applicants than other brands? And the recruiters are twice as likely to get a response from the emails they send. So I think it's very, very important that you work actively this positioning online. The second thing, it is about net hunting. What is net hunting? Net hunting is an incredibly technique to help you to get a talent database online. So what you have to do is to try to find the key players for any kind of environment you need to cover positions, and start interacting with them. So by the time you need to cover a position, you can just go to them and start interacting with them, because those people are connected as well. So then we are creating a net of connections that we could use to get more candidates for our positions. And this can be the easiest and the quickest and maybe the cheapest way to do so. And last but not least, as I said, social media are an incredible source of information. You can know a lot of things about your company. But as well, you can know a lot about candidates. You can visit the social media profiles and see what they do, what they like. You can go on LinkedIn and review their experience. So it is a very powerful source of information. And for example, at BBVA, we are working now on a new assessment tool just to validate what we call the digital mindset of our candidates. We are working on it at the moment, but this model is called PK, which stands for the presence, the intensity, the knowledge, and the influence of the social media profiles of the candidates. So we are working on the model now, and we are obviously seeing all the legal aspects about it, and how can we really automatize it. But we are very happy with this, because we found recruiters are going to find it extremely, extremely useful. But if social media can help you a lot, I have to tell you that bad news, transformation, it is not easy. BBVA works in over 30 countries in all over the world. We've got over 50 million clients. We are 100,000 employees, and last year we hired 17,000 people. You think transformation is being easy? It's not, definitely not. But we are trying, and we are going step by step. So you'll have to face also challenges, and I'm sure you will get there eventually. The important thing is that you go step by step. And what I can tell you as well is the challenges we had to face, because that might help you to understand how you can approach transformation within your HR department. The first challenge was the organization. And that was because the whole big thing, the whole big transformation was just happening right at the moment I wanted to implement a global HR marketing strategy. And I think some parts of the organization, they were not ready for this. It was very simple. It was a matter of time. Now everything is a lot more settled, and we work very coordinated with some other areas in the bank. So that was a bit challenging at the beginning, but finally we got together and we are managing the projects together. The second thing, it were my colleagues. And that was something that really, really surprised me. I just didn't understand why they didn't see the point. But when I talked to my colleagues, the recruiters, I talk about you have to improve your personal brand, because if you do that, if you improve your LinkedIn profile, then you're going to be more likely to get a response from candidate. So that's going to be amazing for your, your daily basis. And they were like, no, I don't want to have like my real name on the profile. I don't want to have a photo. I don't see the point. I just use the recruiter license and that's it. So, okay. With this scenario, I had to review my approach, and it was like, okay, they don't understand because this is very new for them. So what we did an internal audit on 75 profiles of recruiters, and we analyzed them, we wrote a report, and we also wrote a document with some tips that could help them to improve their profile. We also gave them some training session. And after a few months, we review again the situation. We did another internal audit, and I wish you could see the difference. It was absolutely amazing, and it was very exciting because I didn't really expect such a great feeling when they did it. So it was fantastic. And finally, and this is something related to my company, so you might not be in the same situation, what I found is extremely complicated was to manage this as a global level. Why is that? Because we operate in very different countries where the job market is completely different. So we work in countries that were on recession, with not very economic situation, and we also work on countries with a very bustling economy at the moment. So we had to create a global brand that needed to be implemented at a local level. Of course, there were also some kind of financial and legal aspects related to the global management, but I also have to find the way to get this global level of the strategy and then to be implemented in every country. So to face all those barriers, all the challenges, what we did is that we had to evolve from just a few techniques separated from the global strategy to a much more evolved and complete strategy of employer branding. And we set our main pillar on LinkedIn. So there were 5 things that we did and we are still doing. The first thing, we multiplied by 5 the number of pages, the career pages. So we've got now cover all the regions where we operate. That means that if you access to our career page from the UK, you will see some jobs, some photos, some information. And if you access from Paraguay, you will see a completely different material, which makes completely sense, right? That helped us to grow last year on the double pace we were growing. So we got 2 times more followers than we did before. Our community is growing, and that is helping us to get to more people and to reach a greater audience. The second thing we did, it was to try to impose the use of the recruiter license. Because as I said, my colleagues, they were using it, but not as much as they could use it. So we tried to push it as much as possible, so they use it every day, and they send emails, and it's working pretty well. At the moment, we are impacting 20% of the candidates that they are finally hired. And compared to the 10% from last year, we've seen a great growth here. It's been fantastic. And also, just to help them to improve their profile and to improve the use about LinkedIn, we've undertaken now a program training program on LinkedIn Recruiter License. So they all know how to use the license, and they know how to be more effective, which is, again, fantastic. Just for the regular thing they do every day, it's not a major thing. Again, as I said, we help them to define a new brand identity of themselves, the personal brands. And now they've got a fantastic number of profiles with photos and with the description and everything. And finally, we've just launched a media campaign, and that was the first time we did it ever. Unfortunately, I haven't got any data to share with you because we just launched it a couple of weeks ago. But we are very happy with it because what we are doing, we are targeting the people and professionals we found more difficult to get engaged, which in our case are engineers and technical and digital professionals. So I'm sure in a few months we've got amazing results. So, if there is something I want you to remember after this presentation, are these 5 takeaways. The first thing is that you need to be able to learn from others because you are not alone. Talk to the people within your department. Talk to people in other departments, maybe people in marketing and social media and communication areas. They can help you a lot. But also, talk to people in other companies. And that's actually a very 2.0 attitude, just sharing. And actually, isn't that the reason we're all here today? So just let's network and talk after this presentation. And of course, please, if you feel like having a chat with me, that would be fantastic because I could also learn from your experience. The second thing is that if you need to think digital, you have to be flexible and be ready for the unpredictable. And I know that's very difficult because we were used to work in a very structured way, and now this kind of creative atmosphere is going to get a bit much sometimes for you, but you will get used to it. The third thing is that you need to reinvent yourself so you are able to get within the millennial generation, and you have to get the words and the way they work, and just to make it like if it was yours. Then don't be afraid of social. They're not monsters. They are there to help you. And we are very lucky now because we've got access to a greater information that we didn't even dream about 10 years ago. So just use it wisely. And last thing, do not try to change things very fast. Just go step by step, little things, and the change finally, eventually happened. Oh, I just forgot. Do you remember I mentioned this number, 1,200,000? Do you know what relates to? No? This is the number of times that the word transformation is Googled per month. So as I said, we are all on the same boat. Thank you very much.